And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. A very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender. Tim Shaw's in the house. Welcome.
Ron, great to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Oh, gotta love it when we have technical issues. So maybe if I turn the soundboard up, maybe that'll work even better. Comes through loud in my ear, but I got to have our producer, Josh, tell me what to push the right buttons here. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. So let's see if we can find something that is exciting. Some days the celebration list isn't all that exciting, but National IT Professionals Day. I think I'm gonna call my wife and tell her about this one. She'll be on the phone with Josh all day long, man, if she hears that it's IT professionals. National New York Day. Yeah, that's not exciting anymore. Used to be a great day. National Chai Day. I'm not much for chai, so let's stick with National Pecan Cookie Day. That one I can handle pecan cookies. That's a good one. Let's see if do we want to even know what the markets are doing today? Well, Dow Jones Industrial Average up 213 points. And it's a little bit of a bounce after a very, very tough day yesterday. It was not pleasant on Wall Street, and there was a bit of a scare this morning watching the markets because they opened up about 200 points up. That was good, but it started turning the other way and went to at one point, I think the market was actually down just a little bit, which is never good after a major sell-off like we saw yesterday. And then you see the markets go down the following day. They call that follow-through. And it usually portends bad things in the market. So we didn't have that. We've been spared a little bit. So that is good news on that front. Let's see what else is going on or where else the markets are taking us. S&P 500 is up 23. NASDAQ up 110. Oil up 21 cents a barrel. Just for fun, maybe we'll look at this. Maybe it's not fun, but I'll look at it anyway. So gasoline prices, $3.19 per gallon. That would be the national average. And as you know, California helps raise the national average because we are leading the country by a lot, not even a little bit. We're the highest priced gasoline anywhere in the country. That includes the oil-producing state of Hawaii. Oh, wait a second. I don't think they produce oil in Hawaii. They import it from California, and it's still cheaper over there. Hey, maybe I can go to Hawaii and bring back some gasoline because they're $4.07 a gallon in Hawaii and significantly cheaper than we are here in California. Cheapest gas in the land still is Texas. our tremendous underwriter, her gas prices have gone up in Louisiana to $2.90. Josh, yours is still going down for the $3.94 a gallon now in Nevada. And yeah, if you want to hear about it, should I tell you? Does anybody really want to know about gas prices in California? If you haven't been to the pump lately, yeah, $4.39 a gallon is the average for a gallon of gasoline in California. And I shared with you, what was it, a week ago, 2 weeks ago? I was in Paso Robles, and I paid a lot more than that up in Paso Robles. So here in California, $4.39 a gallon, leading the country. Again, Hawaii was number 2, so not even close. Let's take a look and see. Orange County, 435.7. Los Angeles, 440. Okay, so let's move right along and see what else is going on in the world and the markets. So the stock market falling still. I wonder if the president was going to be speaking this morning. I'm not sure if he remembers that he had a conference at the United Nations. Did you see the tweet from Elon Musk? All right, so Elon Musk, and they send a rocket up. It comes back down. Not a mention from the president of the United States. And they asked Elon Musk about it, and he said, "Oh, he's probably still sleeping." That's just now when you start getting that from some of these folks that the president is asleep on the job, you got to be careful because they're the ones that seem to support him, give cover for all that goes on. And I know we are in California, and being a conservative in California, you generally don't get too much say in anything. I kind of chuckled when I was watching all these stupid ads that the governor put out, that it was or his crew put out. I don't know whether it was him or not, but talking about the Republican recall. Now, I think you would have had to have every Republican in the entire state sign the recall in order for it to go through. I know not every one of them did, because there's not very many of us here, right? So it's not a Republican recall. Now, I did notice, I've got the copy right here from about 5 miles from where we broadcast. I saw the slips on from the polling place, and they put on the window what the numbers were, and it was like 9-1 in favor of the recall, about 5 miles from where I am. So at least there are some people that still have a belief that we can go the right direction and we can take our country back. Ironically enough, everything the Republicans were saying that they wanted from the recall was reiterated by the mayor of San Francisco. Did you see that? That was hysterical. So the mayor of San Francisco, it's the do as I say, not as I do mentality. So she's out there at a club dancing away and partying, having a good time. I commend her because there's not a way that I'm going to stop doing that kind of stuff. But she's out there saying, well, we understand. We know what we need to do to protect ourselves. Really? Now, isn't that what we've been saying right along, is we don't need the government to take care of everything? We don't need them to hold our hand? Unbelievable. Now we start seeing the things that I've been sharing with you. Now, I get censored. I know that Facebook doesn't like what I have to say most of the time. But, we come out and you see now there's a HHS, Health and Human Safety whistleblower out there that's come out and says, there's problems with the vaccine. Really? Is there really? There's some surprise. Now they come out with this thing extremely quick, and now they're talking about younger men especially who get the second vaccine are more susceptible to some of these side effects. Now, I'm right in that sweet spot, right? So I don't get considered young at all for anything. And I'm not in that 65 plus group. So, I guess I get to do whatever I want. I do whatever I want anyway. But the bottom line here is you look at it now, the data. I remember the president saying he was going to follow the data. Didn't he say that? Am I missing something? I thought I heard him say that. But he was out there saying everybody needs to get the second shot. Oh. but the FDA says 16-2 no. I wonder what data the president was following. Maybe it was a Dr. Seuss book he read. I don't know, but that could have been where that data came from. It's amazing what we're going through right now. Elections have consequences. We've talked about that. I did hear, though, that they have found, and it's breaking news, I know that there was some people that are watching this closely, missing persons. Yes, so there is breaking news. Kamala Harris has been found. I know she's been in the witness protection program. She's been hiding somewhere other than a fundraiser or two. But she has been found. I think that she's going to be doing a major interview today on a major TV show on a major network. So we might get some real news from her. Oh, wait a second. She's going to be on The View. So I don't know what kind of information is that. That the National Enquirer gives better. Is the National Enquirer even out there anymore? I think they give better information out than The View does, but ABC still likes The View. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to learn a lot today. I don't know how Tim does it, but he's city council, and he's on some Orange County boards and Pacific West Realtors, and he has time for a family life, too. So I don't know how you manage all this stuff, Tim, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to also talk about remote work is here to stay. Can your home deliver the space it needs? We'll chat about that. And, oh, yes, we've got a featured home brought to you by my favorite lender, .net. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit RonSiegelRadio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Dow Jones Industrial Average holding steady right there at about 219 points to the good side. The NASDAQ is at 105 points up. We're looking at the S&P 500 up 2279. 10-year Treasury, it's up 1 basis point. That's all. And we're looking at the mortgage-backed securities. They're down 3 basis points, which means interest rates are basically flat. They're not doing a whole heck of a lot of anything. So let's see, why are these things happening? Well, here's the headline. Housing starts for August were reported at 1.615 million unit pace, which is up 61,000 from last year's revised report of 1.55 more million. Housing permits, which are a good indicator of future starts, increased to 1.728 million units. This is up 98,000 from last month's previously revised figure of 1.635. But oh yeah, you got to look deeper into the numbers to figure out what's really going on. The housing starts right now are in multifamily units. Who buys multifamily units? Well, for the most part, it's investors that are buying multifamily units, right? Because who needs 4 houses to live in on the same block, right? So investors are buying those. So those that are looking at single family, well, I'm not sure there is single family anymore, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But those buying this, the starts on the single family is not up as much. And in fact, D.R. Horton, America's largest home builder, came out and said today that their fourth quarter homes closed for the fourth quarter. These are projections, obviously, because we haven't got there yet. Their projections, they're bringing them down by about 10%. Now, the biggest builder in America brings their housing, their numbers down 10%. Ow! Not good news for the marketplace. Now, again, that's supply chain issues. Does that mean there are people that they don't have people that want those homes? No. When they get to this point of the process, those homes are long sold. They're committed for. There's somebody that's saying, I want my house before the holidays, and they're probably not going to be getting that. So watch out for what the news has to say later in the day, because surprise, surprise, sometimes they've been known to give us some bad information. I don't know why they do that, but that's why you listen to Ron Siegel Radio, so you can find out what's really going on. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So I love to chat. We get some great information. Tim Shaw is kind enough to come in and visit with us. And I would tell you his background, but I mean, background is, I don't even know if you can go into your background, because your current day, so La Habra City Council, Orange County Transit Authority, Education,
Orange County Board of Education.
Orange County Board of Education, Pacific West Association of Realtors, and college and Professor Tim.
Part-time.
Part-time professor. Do we have to not a doctor, right?
No,
Okay.
I have a master's degree.
Okay, just thought I'd throw that in there and see. I mean, if we have to be formal with you, Dr. Counsel, I don't even have Dr. Councilman? Is that what we say, or what?
Tim is fine.
Okay, so we get a lot of great information from Tim, and he's up on all these things that are going on. So let's chat about the biggie first, Tim. So I had this conversation. I want to see if I was right. So maybe you can help us out. I had a conversation yesterday with a individual in Irvine, and they were all excited about SB 9. And they made the comment that Well, now it's going to save, what is it, 700, we're going to get 700,000 new, potentially new units being built, according to what the governor said the other day. And the city the city councils or planning commissions and the county have no say over whether you can put multiple units on a single family lot. Is that basically correct?
Okay, yeah. If I could quickly preface this, there is a general theme out of Sacramento, the state government wanting more housing built.
Okay.
So we see a lot of bills, and this is in that category. So yes, SB 9, the idea is to sort of force the issue on getting more housing out into the marketplace. As you've been alluding to, we just don't have enough housing supply. So SB 9 was passed, signed by Governor Newsom. I don't, my frankly take on it is going to be a much more modest impact to the market than I think people on either side are. There's some people who hate this bill, some people who love it. I don't know that it's going to change things as much as either side is maybe thinking it will. But the idea is basically, yes, if you have a lot that you can split it and now have two homes built where there had maybe only previously been one there. So the idea of lot splitting and getting that second unit built on there in the ADU or that is the general idea of streamlining that process. But there's a lot of caveats to go with this.
So here's what my comment was, and then I want to ask you a couple of the questions I had. Is I made the comment, I said, okay, so you've got a $1.2 million house in Irvine. Not outrageous. There's a lot of houses in Irvine that fit that bill.
Sure.
And your neighbor says, okay, I'm going to tear my house down and I want to put a fourplex right there, right next door to my $1.2 million house. Is that allowed?
Well, conceivably, I don't know that it ever really becomes very economical to do that. And again, the caveats, you got to have it owner occupied. So does someone want to do that to the house they live in? Probably not. I mean, so again, I don't know that in reality you're going to see a whole lot of that because of those caveats like the owner occupied requirement.
1 out of the 4 would have to be owner occupied.
Right.
Okay.
You can't do it in a historic property. You can't do it if you're displacing a tenant. You can't do it if there was an Ellis Act eviction within the last 15 years. You can't do it in any area where there's a rent control ordinance. So there's all these caveats go into place. Where it will probably likely be done is where there's just vacant land. And they were, that's where it might become more, actually applied.
Okay. So, well, do we have enough vacant land to build 700,000 homes?
No, that's why I'm telling you, I think it's going to be more modest.
Okay. So now the next question that I would have on that is, they said just listening to what the governor said. Now, I don't know whether that's correct or not. I mean, he is a politician, right? No pun intended. No, no offense to you. I know you get involved in that stuff. But he said the city and counties don't have any jurisdiction whether you can add divide up that property.
That's the idea. Right.
But don't they still have the environmental impact studies and the requirement of getting approval through the planning commission and going through all the other red tape that's required?
Sure. I mean, you still have to do all that normal planning stuff. I mean, often you hear this cry of, well, we demand local control. For better or worse, I know some people get upset about this. To people like Gavin Newsom and those in our legislature, those are probably code words for we want the local government to have the ability to say no to housing. And so they just regularly deny, say no and make it so difficult to ever build new housing. That's how our state has fallen behind. So for better or worse, what the state government is looking to do is sort of force it on in a way that the local city can't say no to housing. That's what this is sort of all about.
Yeah, this one, it just baffles me where people don't think about all the unintended consequences. But I mean, everybody wants, any decent human, I think, wants people to be able to afford to live in a home as opposed to under a bridge, right? I don't think there's an argument there. The question becomes, how do we do that efficiently? And do we get the government out of it, because that generally creates less efficiencies? I've been told, and maybe you know this better than me, Tim, because with your housing, is it costs 40% more to build a home in San Diego, California, than it does in Phoenix, Arizona. just to get to the groundbreaking stage.
That's probably correct. Yeah, that sounds right to me. Yeah, I mean, the California Environmental Quality Act, is known as CEQA, is very onerous, and that makes a big hindrance. There's another bill, SB 10, that sort of looks at streamlining the CEQA process if it's less than 10 units. So that's another part of the theme that we're seeing out of our state government.
So, okay, I don't even know anything about 10.
If your builder's trying to build less than 10 units and they're near like a transit stop, a train station or bus stop, that you would kind of streamline the CEQA process for approval if you're building a very small number of units like that. That was the idea with SB 10.
Which again, I mean, that it's kind of a good thought, I would think, to have, especially right near, well, as long as you're not trying to take the train to San Diego. But other than that, have you watched that on the news? I saw that on the news the other night that no trains going to San Diego from Orange County. What is that doing to Arctic? Is that like the stopping point part now, or
no? There's other stations down in further south in Orange County, but what you're alluding to, that there's a danger of a hill falling onto the rail track in San Clemente. So they stopped service into San Clemente or south into San Diego.
So some of the people in Laguna might be happy about that.
Yeah,
right. I mean, there might be some folks out there that are a little happier that they're not getting quite as much traffic. The trains aren't going through there. But and then you get the people that live right by a train, and they complain about train noise, as if the train wasn't there before they bought the house, right? I mean, but I digress. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, remote work, here to stay. Can your home deliver the space you need? And we've got a featured home brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. all without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Remote work is here to stay. Can your home deliver the space you need? Surprise, surprise, a lot has changed over the past year for many people. The rise in remote work influenced what they're looking for in a home and created a greater appetite for a dedicated home office. Some professionals took advantage of the situation and purchased a bigger home. Other people thought working from home would be temporary, so they chose to get creative and make the space they already had work for them. But recent headlines indicate working from home is not a passing fad. If you're still longing for a dedicated home office, now may be the time to find the home that addresses your evolving needs. More and more companies are delaying their plans to return to the office. Others are deciding to remain fully remote permanently, according to economists from Goldman Sachs in a recent article from CNN. Quote, job ads increasingly offer remote work, and surveys indicate that both workers and employers expect work from home to remain much more common than before the pandemic, unquote. Other experts, a survey conducted by Upwork of 1,000 hiring managers, found that due to the pandemic, companies were planning more remote work now and in the years to come. Upwork elaborates, quote, the number of remote workers in the next 5 years is expected to be nearly double what it was before COVID-19. By 2025, 36.2 million Americans will be remote, an increase of 16.8 million people from pre-pandemic rates. Here's a chart breaking down the findings and compare pre- and post-pandemic percentages. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're looking at these charts from 5 years from now and before the pandemic of what some of these numbers look like, according to Statista and Upwork. How does this impact homeowners? If you own your home, important to realize that continued remote work may give you opportunities you did not realize you had. Since you don't need to be tied to a specific area for your job, you have more flexibility when it comes to where you live. If you're one of the nearly 23% of workers who remain 100% remote, you have the option to move to a lower cost of living area or to locations of your dreams. If you search for a home in a more affordable area, you'll be able to get more home for your money, freeing up more options for your dedicated office space and additional breathing room. You can also move to a location where you've always wanted to live, somewhere near the beach, I don't know about that, the mountains, or simply a market that features the kind of weather and community amenities you're looking for. Without your job tying you to a specific location, you're bound to find your ideal spot. If you're one of almost 15% of individuals who will have a partially remote or hybrid schedule, relocating with your local area to a home that's further away from your office could be a great choice. Since you won't be going into work every day, a slightly longer commute from more suburban or rural neighborhood may be a worthy trade-off for a home with more features, space, and comfort. Again, if you're having any thoughts about these ideas, the concept is give us a call at 800-306-1990. Get on the game plan, figure out what your needs are and what's best for you and your family. That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Continuing our conversation with the multi-talented Tim Shaw. So, you know, when I look at this real-time real estate report, Tim, and it's talking about the idea of more people living remote longer. and one of the hats you wear being transportation. And also obviously with your day job with the Pacific West region of realtors, if I said that properly.
No, you didn't. But
Okay.
It's okay.
PWR is what we call it. So what is that?
Pacific West Association of Realtors.
Okay, there we go. Got to get it right. They might get mad at me. So are either or both of those organizations looking at the concept of what's needed based on people being able to stay home and work remote longer?
Well, certainly at the Transportation Authority where I serve, they're looking at, the traffic patterns. And one key data point so far is that as traffic has come back, it's coming back a little bit different than it existed before. I sit on the committee that that runs the express lanes on the 91, for example, between Orange County and Riverside County. And, we always had the peak in the morning and the afternoon, but as we're coming out of COVID, it looks like it is shifting around a little bit, those patterns. They call it the shoulders. So not just the exact peak, but kind of in the hours a little bit before and after. So it is coming back in a little more spread out way coming back. So there's not just that one rush of peak time. Maybe people are going into work, earlier, waking up super early, or maybe just going in later. And so people are kind of coming back in a little different way.
So I guess we're going to be looking for some rate changes on the 91 express lane.
It's fascinating, the algorithm they have set up to price that. It's not. It's kind of a set formula. It's really interesting.
Interesting. Okay, so you're watching it, and that things are going to change. They can't stay the same on all of this, right? And I think we're learning a lot that maybe we didn't believe was true before pandemic. There might be some good stuff come out of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been obviously a horrible situation.
Well, it is a lot of interesting things. Senior citizens have learned how to, maybe they didn't like the idea of shopping online, but now everyone knows how to, order a meal or do grocery shopping online or, work from home. Everyone's kind of figured that out now. So a lot of big employers might keep their people at home or somewhat working at home or all the way working at home. And it could alleviate traffic congestion out there a little bit.
So it's going to be fascinating to watch and see what we learn and what comes back over time. Let's get on to some other issues here with Tim in the time we have. Eviction moratorium. Is that going to ever end?
Probably not. Sorry to say. So at the federal level, it was kind of interesting. President Biden basically indicated we can't do this. It would be illegal. And yet they kind of then just did it anyway through the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, as an emergency. Kind of fascinating that it would come through that. They tried to have a federal eviction moratorium. The court said, no, you can't do this way. So at the national level, that did get thrown out. But of course, in California, it didn't hit us because we have a state policy in place. So even before COVID, we had AB 1482. We were giving all these other rights to tenants, making it very increasingly difficult to ever get rid of a tenant. But now with the pandemic and the emergency orders, they keep reinstituting that. But in theory, yes, it's supposed to go away. Given the current people we have in elected office, and with the recall failing, I my personal opinion, I don't know that he's going to let it go away.
So I've been sharing with folks that there's got to be some organization out there, and I don't know if there is or isn't, but I did notice in one of the interviews I saw, one of the folks said, hey, something, just start a lawsuit against the tenant, even though there is this moratorium going. And if you've can get some backing from some sort of associations, it may end up going to the Supreme Court and overruling what the state rules are. Have you heard anything along those lines?
I can't say that I have. Given the current makeup of the United States Supreme Court, that might be a winning formula. I do know that there is a lot of money being made available at different levels to, for rental assistance. That a lot of it's not been applied for. It's just kind of sitting out there. It's been appropriated.
But is that because, in Anaheim, I know, and at one time, and you'll know these numbers a lot better than me, but in Anaheim, they had the assistance for the landlord, that the landlord could apply to get these reimbursements from the CARES Act. But Anaheim said, okay, if you get that, we're going to give you, and I think it was like 80% of what your loss was. But oh, by the way, you can't evict the person for the next 12 months for any reason at all.
Yeah.
Right? So why as a landlord would I want to take 80% of what's due to me already and then give up my rights for a year?
Right. I mean, those kind of conditions make it, you kind of have this terrible choice to make.
You're right. I mean,
and it's
so it's heads I lose, tails I lose as well.
pretty much. And in fact, tonight in Santa Ana, that council is looking at imposing a rent control that would, believe it or not, be at 80% of CPI. So if you're the property owner over time, they're telling you can't even keep up with inflation. You would only be at 80% of inflation. And it's like, how is that sustainable over any period of time, especially in an economy where we're having, an uptick of inflation? I mean, imagine that in 20 years. So if you're the property owner 20 years from now, you would be way below, where you would have been just keeping up with inflation. And you think about what are the long-term implications of that? If you're the property owner in Santa Ana, why on earth would you put a new roof on or, and otherwise maintain the property? You won't. You can't. You won't be able to afford that. So it will turn all the properties into dumps. Everyone knows this.
Except for those who are going to vote on it.
Yeah, except for those people. But we're working very closely, the realtors, the apartment association, the Orange County Taxpayers Association, the builders, all of our different housing groups talk to each other quite a bit, and we're showing up, and hopefully we can get the votes. Well, fingers crossed. I'm not particularly optimistic, but hopefully we can push back. I mean, because that's crazy.
At some point, we've got to get to a point where there's actually education matters, right? And you start saying, okay, well, if I can only raise the rent, if I'm limited to raising the rent less than what it's going to cost me to repair the building,
right?
Something's got to give.
And no one's going to choose to lose money permanently. I mean, you got to think about it. Every property owner would just start selling. I mean, you're basically hanging a sign on the city hall saying, "Don't invest in this city." You'd be crazy to put your money here.
So let's say they've increased their taxes, their sales tax, and their
right.
So there are some areas of Santa Ana that you have to start questioning what their real logic is. It's kind of hard to understand right there.
It's been a tough city for us. I mean, the last election, they produce. It's very young council members. They live with their parents. Several of them. We've tried really hard to educate them, bring them up to speed on our issues, and we called it our charm offensive of trying to when we're just meeting one-on-one and explaining it to them. So when you get them one-on-one, I think they sort of get it, but they get a lot of pressure from the tenants' rights activists and stuff, and they're good on that side. They bust people in, they pack city council chambers. I wonder if how many of them actually live in the city. That's always
that might be something that they need to figure out. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Tim Shaw, and we're going to do a real quick featured home segment brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. Hey, we're going to look at some of the comments that are coming in as well when we come back. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to PEAR@RonSiegelRadio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Featured home segment today being brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. Get on there with them. Get the app. It's cool. Wonderful home, 2813 Winchester Street, Fullerton, California, 92835. This one's listed by Marcy Thomas. If you want some great information on it, Marcy's got all the details. I'm looking at the pictures. You could be too if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv or any of our socials. Beautiful tri-level Fullerton home boasts 5 large bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms with the possibility of a mother-in-law's quarters that has a kitchenette, completely remodeled with a stunning eat-in kitchen and beautiful custom flooring throughout. Oversized master bedroom has a huge walk-in closet with 2 additional closets. Large driveway has space for 3 to 4 extra vehicles. Charming backyard has 2 eating areas, a covered patio, and seating area for entertaining guests. You won't want to miss seeing this beautiful move-in ready home. Close to shopping and easy freeway access. Marcy has this one listed for $1,149,000. Financing, 30 years, 10% down. Principal and interest, $46.44. If you put 20% down, $41.28. 25% down, $35.18. Again, those are principal and interest payments only. You do need to add your taxes. They've got to get all the money, right? Hazard insurance, the mortgage insurance, if there is any. Looks like there's no HOA. And yes, for those of you keeping score, compliance people, I know you're out there. APR of 3.865, 3.549, and 2.956. NMLS 217037. Again, I don't sell real estate, but I know people that do. Give me a call, 800-306-1990. This one, 2813 featured home, 2813 Winchester Street, Fullerton. Marcy Thomas is the listing agent. That's the featured home segment brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. Continue our conversation. Tim Shaw is in the house. Got some interesting comments coming in here, Tim. So this one, Facebook user, anonymous. That means somebody didn't check on the boxes, let us know who they are. But hey, that's okay. We appreciate your comments. Not only finding space, but making sure your home network used for work is cyber secure. WFH is a new edge of corporate network, and home internet is woefully unprepared for cybersecurity risks. Any thoughts?
I'm way out of my league on cyber stuff. I have sat through some classes that put on for the city. I just was terrified.
Yeah.
It was enough to terrify me. I'm sure that's a very valid comment. You want to be very cyber secure.
Yeah, you've got to be careful of that. I've got a friend of mine who's lost twice now. And once was within like 6 hours overnight, where they'd hacked her bank account, hacked her Venmo account, hacked, I don't know, 3 or 4 a credit card, calls the bank, gets everything straightened out, and before she wakes up in the morning, gets a message from the bank saying, guess what? Did you really make these charges overnight? So be careful is the bottom line. So that's a good point there. Thank you for sharing that. Alex, you are so right. Let's see if I can put this. Our leaders who create these laws need an economics course. That's why for Santa Ana, can we get the Santa Ana City Council to go to Economics 101? I'm not going to ask you to comment there, Tim. Housing Affordability Index. We talk about that a bit on Ron Siegel Radio. Give us a little of your color on that one.
Sure. So statewide in California, the median priced home is now over $800,000, about $820,000. That's all of California. And I think the number, you have to make almost exactly $150,000 a year to on average to qualify for that. Only 23% of people in California making it. So that housing affordability index, only 23% of Californians can afford a median priced home. And that number's just been crashing, it's all the way down to 23% now. It's why it's true. We have a housing crisis. I mean, this is a real problem. People can't get into housing.
Well, but something I wonder about that, Tim. So as a lender, we're looking at the ratios of people to give that to lend money for a house. Economics 101 says the price is going to go up if there's more demand than there is supply. Prices are going to go down if there's more supply than there is demand. So there's enough people that can afford to keep pushing prices up, right? So the affordability, I know what the numbers are showing, but if people keep pushing those prices up, and we see that every day in these bidding wars, I'm sure you see it at the association, there's bidding wars on everything.
Right.
How do they square those two, that people can't afford it, but there's so many people bidding for the property, which means economically they've got to be able to afford it.
Right. And one data point that is interesting, looking at this market versus right before the 08 crash, there is a lot more money being put into down as down payments. So the association doesn't feel it's the bubble that we had before, where people are getting into more loans they clearly couldn't afford. But obviously the interest rates are very low.
Sure.
And all that. Well, with this inflation going on, as the federal government is printing trillions of dollars a year, they're probably going to have to start raising interest rates, I would think, and that's going to really probably be what corrects this market.
Yeah, that'll be fascinating when that happens. And good segue for us, Tim. They think tomorrow at I think it's 11 o'clock California time, the Federal Reserve will be making their interest rate announcement, and then they've got a meeting at 11:30. They're going to be sharing right after that. They'll have their comments and whatnot. And most of the folks I talk to say that, surprise, surprise, the Fed chairman. Surprise. Yeah, they're going to actually kick this down the road again because we didn't get good numbers on jobs in the last jobs report.
Right.
Inflation is hot. We've got they don't know where we're heading with the virus, with the next variant. So there's a lot of question marks in the economy. So they're probably not going to talk much about raising interest rates too soon.
The macroeconomic situation is a little frightening to me. I mean, I'm afraid we could be into the situation like the stagflation problem of inflation and bad job numbers. You kind of have the worst of both worlds if we're not careful.
Absolutely, especially because we talk about the supply chain, and I don't know. I don't think you can go into any facility right now if you are working and you're out there in the marketplace shopping. I don't know anywhere that you can really go right now and not see a for hire sign.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember people operate on their personal incentives, and if the government is giving them as much money to be on welfare or whatever as opposed to working, of course everyone would rather just be home and not working. So you got to make sure those incentives are in place.
Yeah, one of the states I know is giving a bonus for people going back to work. right? I mean, isn't that well, to me, that's better than giving people money to stay home.
Yeah, you
right?
got
At
to
least
get
you're
people
incentivizing
working.
people to get off the couch. And, I've shared this, Tim, before, that if you have any sort of capitalist thought process and the government says, I'll pay you more to stay home versus business saying, I'll pay you less to go work. Well, capitalism says stay home, right? I mean,
Right.
You're making more money. That's what I want to do is I want to maximize the amount of money I can make for my talent.
On the individual level, everyone will operate on those incentives. Absolutely.
Unbelievable. Great information as always. Tim, I appreciate you coming in and sharing with us. We got through about half the items that we were going to talk about.
Always a pleasure.
And as always, I ask you, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.